Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Eithne. Today's class is going to be based around the hips, getting into kind of the front and the backs of the hips, stretching out into the legs, and hopefully just having fun along the way. So as you feel ready, gently start to find your way into a child's pose. Please take the knees nice and wide. Sink your bum all the way down towards your heels, stretching fingertips out long, forehead melting down to the ground. Closing down the eyes, because the great thing about your child's pose is that no one can see you under here. Relaxing the jaw, softening the lips, and just gently start to invite calm breath in and out through the nose. Increasing this space in the rib cage, filling up the lungs, and really allowing your belly to soften to the space in between the thighs. Forehead melting down to the ground. Fingers, hands, elbows, shoulders releasing. Just generally allowing yourself to fully surrender down into this position, into this posture. So as we're working down into the hips today, really getting this sense of grounding through the lower half of the body and opening into perhaps spaces that feel a little bit tender and a little bit tight at some points, and that's completely natural. But just really use this opportunity to explore what is showing up today, and staying open to the opportunity of change within the movements. Take 3 deep breaths, please. On your 4th inhale, gently guide your way forwards into a tabletop position, blinking open the eyes, stepping your right foot to the outside edge of that right hand, drawing that knee on top of the ankle, rolling around into this space, maybe onto the side edge of your foot, but just slowly start to take a little bit of movement into this left hip flexor, into your right knee and ankle. And it doesn't really matter too much how this looks. Just kind of get nice and juicy down into the hip socket. Moving, not through habit, but exploring into the circumference of these circles. Take one more breath. Finding stillness, plant the hands. Right hand, glide up towards your right thigh. Lean away from that leg and roll over to the side edge of your right foot. Noticing if you're collapsing down forwards into this left shoulder, can we breathe up and out? Squeezing the glutes, press their pelvis low, so almost your left hip bone low, as we revolve through the upper chest. One more inhale here. And exhale, right hand down to the floor, square off that right foot. Tuck the left toes, lift the knee. Walking your hands now over towards this left side, pressing almost your butt backwards as we reach the hands away. Keeping this back leg super active, or if it does feel a little bit too much today, drop that back knee and get the softening through the upper body. If we're staying with the activity, reaching the hands perhaps a little bit further away, really opening up into this right hip crease, left hip flexor, the part that your thigh connects to your body almost. Well, not almost, definitely. Take one more inhale. And exhale, walking the hands back into the center. Oh, drop the left knee if it's not there already. Step that right foot back and we'll take it all on the left side. Left foot forwards, outside edge of the hand. And just gently start to roll around here. And the great thing about our bodies is that the two sides are definitely not symmetrical. So it might feel a little bit nicer or a little bit tighter on this side. So kind of just play around here. Don't be too fixated on what the sensation should feel like. What is happening for you today is where it should be. Take a breath. Press pause as we roll to the outside edge of this left foot, left hand coming up towards the thigh, shifting the weight up and out of this right shoulder and having a little lean back. So the reason we don't want to press onto your knee joint is that knees are very, very vulnerable. They kind of move forwards and backwards. They don't kind of move from side to side. Well, there's a tiny little bit of motion, but not too much. So taking your hand onto your thigh encourages this space from your hip socket rather than putting any extra force down into the knees. Take one more breath. Slowly coming into center. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee as we walk the hands over towards that right hand side. And remember, we're keeping that back right leg super active as we reach the hands away. Or if that doesn't feel too good on your body, drop the back knee. Wherever we're going, keeping a smooth breath. Maybe the Ujjayi is starting to switch on. That victorious pranayama, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, allowing you to send energy, prana, around the body, or life force energy. Take one more breath and gently come into stillness, into the middle with those hands. Step your right foot up to the top of the mat on the outside edge of that right hand. Let's Yogi Squat, Malasana. Keep the fingertips a little bit further forwards as we sink our bum in between the knees, not going into that passive range with the elbows into the knees, but really actively pressing your knees out to the back. Like a frog. Take a breath. Start to reach your fingertips forwards and lift up your tailbone, flattening out your spine here. So really, really getting into both hip sockets. It's fairly intense. If this does feel too much, hands onto the fingertips onto the floor is completely fine. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, press the floor away. Draw the palms to touch at heart center. We rise. Yes, it's intense. Take a breath. Start to sink your bum backwards. Lengthen the chest forwards. Come back down into that really deep, active squat. Reach the fingertips long and see if you can flatten out your spine here. I know it's a little bit tricky, but lift your bottom up a little bit higher. Draw the thumbs high and away from you as we reach forwards. Take a breath. Fingertips find the ground. Shuffle your toes in as we straighten up the legs, coming into a soft version of our forward fold to start with. Maybe the knees stay a little bit bent, or if you're more open in the hamstrings, feel free to stretch the legs completely. Soften the neck and face. Use this as a little moment to pause. Take one more inhale. And exhale, turn the toes out. Bend the knees, sink your bum low, just to the height of the knees. One more round with this very, very active squat. Reaching your hands forwards, length through the neck. See if we can send the chest a little bit lower while keeping that activation through the hamstrings, through the glutes. Back of the shoulders are really switching on now. Breath smooth. One more inhale. Exhale, press the floor away. Draw the palms to touch at heart center. Ooh. And relax the shoulders. Shuffle the big toes in to touch. Find your mountain pose, Tadasana please. Big toes touching, slight gap in the heels. Releasing the fingertips down to the ground. Close down the eyes. And just notice what's going on in the body right now. My hips definitely feel a little bit fiery. Just starting to settle down the heart rate. I'm taking this moment to ground. Down to the floor, down to the earth. Take one more inhale. Big exhale. Good, blink your eyes open. Draw the hands high, touching the palms, lifting the gaze up to your thumbs, your Urdhva upward facing hand pose. As we exhale, bend the knees, hinge forward from the hips, starting to come through just one sun salutation to get us back to our downward facing dog. Inhale, halfway rise. Maybe your hands are coming to the shins, reaching your fingertips down to the floor. Or if you want a little bit more activity here, squeeze the arms back in line with your body. Triceps lifting and shoulder blades drawing in towards each other, making sure the knees are definitely not rocking back into any hypermobility, keeping them a tiny little bit active here as we find a secondary lift through the tailbone. Take one more inhale and exhale, fingertips, hands find the ground, step back, right foot, left foot, high plank position. You can take it through a flow of your choice. If you're with me, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Bend your elbows, draw the belly button to the spine as we land all the way down onto the front of the body. Squeeze the shoulders back and down. Rise through the chest, back bend of your choice. Cobra, your Bhujangasana or up dog. And exhale. Shift everything back. Find your way kindly into your downward facing dog. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Soften the knees here, sending your heels low, tailbone tilting up and back as we draw the rib cage in. Armpits wrapping in towards each other to find an external rotation of the upper arm. Neck nice and heavy, and this is really an opportunity to ground back, to center back to you. Maybe a big sigh or a roll of your lips, which is my favorite thing to do. Take one more inhale. Big exhale. Beautiful. Big toes to touch at the back of the mat, please. Inhale to sweep your right leg high. Now, having a look at that foot, notice if you've lifted your hip up straight away. Can we square off the hips, grounding down that left heel, draw up the kneecap, and think about the long line from the fingertips all the way towards the back sole of that right lifted foot. Take a breath. Curl your knee forwards to the nose, point the toe, make it look pretty. Tap your nose or knee to forehead. Lightly step that foot in between the hands, grounding down your left heel. Root to rise, ground down the feet as we lift and elevate through the hands. Pressing the outside edge of that left foot away, bend deeper through this right front knee, gazing high towards the thumbs, our warrior one. Take one more inhale. Exhale to circle the hands, interlace them just behind your bottom. Take a little back bend here, release the rib cage, breathe up and open. Exhale, humble the warrior, right shoulder to the inside edge of the thigh, hands lifting up and over. Notice if you've shifted your shoulders over towards the left side to get a little bit lower here. Can you swivel your chest, keep the feet grounded, think about sending your tailbone backwards and the crown of the head forwards. Working equally between the space of the front and back arms, not just collapsing down into the elbow joints or hypermobility. Relax the neck, seeing if we can almost tap the top of the head to the inside edge of that right foot. One more inhale. Exhale, knuckles reaching away. Rise all the way back up to standing. Pivot onto that back toe. Prepare yourself. Shift the weight forwards. Squeeze that left knee in towards your chest. Woo! If you had a wobble on the way, enjoy it. Cross that left leg over the top of the right. Sink down almost into a half chair pose, a half eagle pose, but elevating the chest high, squeezing the shoulder blades, and finding this almost seated back bend. One more inhale. Exhale, press the floor away, lift that knee back up into chest, release the grip of the fingers. Oh, it feels good. Kicking that left heel back, palms facing down, Tadasana Aeroplane Pose, kind of a variation of your Warrior 3. Notice if you're collapsing through your upper body. Squeeze the shoulder blades, draw the pinky fingers in towards each other as we roll this left hip down. One more inhale. Exhale, step back lightly, reaching the hands up high. Exhale, opens you out, Warrior 2, right arm forwards, left arm back. Take a breath. Straighten up your right leg, flip and exalt the warrior, reaching that little bit higher into the right rib cage. Exalt means to go higher, so think breathe up with the side body here. One more inhale. Exhale drives you back through Warrior 2 with the straight legs. Right arm forwards, left arm forwards. Trikonasana triangle pose with a little bit more strength through the obliques. If this does feel too much, take the right hand down to your shin and keep reaching forwards with that left arm. One more inhale. Exhale to bend through the right front knee, almost in a side angle pose. Again, that right forearm can come down onto your thigh or keep it elevated. Really switching on the Ujjayi breath now. One more inhale. Exhale, rise to stand. Keep the legs as they are. We're going to pivot the chest almost towards the side of the room. Stick your bum backwards. Draw your hands forwards, flattening out the spine and really getting deep into this right hip now. Breathe steady. If it's too much, fingertips can come to the ground or to your hips. One more inhale. And an exhale. Start to pivot those right toes towards the left side of the mat. Bend deeper through the right knee. Keep reaching forwards, Skandasana. Slowly sending your bottom all the way down to the floor. As gracefully as you can. If you did need to use your hands, don't worry about it. It will happen one day. Reach the hands forward. What goes down needs to come back up. Use a little bit of oomph and come back into that Skandasana. Right hand, reach it forward, circle the arm till your fingertips find the ground. Left arm, breathe it high as we open up the top of the chest. One more inhale. Exhale this left hand down to the ground, inner seam of that right foot. Rise onto the back left tiptoes, right arm swoops high, easy twist. Prepare yourself for a side plank, roll to the blade edge of both feet. Right leg stepping back on top of the left, Vashisthasana. If you need a little bit of support today, you can always drop down onto that bottom left knee, or instead, come down onto the forearm, feet still stacking one on top of the other. One more breath wherever you are. And exhale, curl this right arm down. Now we're going to definitely take the right forearm down. Pivot over the feet, left foot stacking on top of the right. Ta-da! Double side plank. I know, please forgive me. Lift this left hip a little bit higher. One more inhale. Exhale, left forearm down to the ground. Fingertips facing towards the top of the mat, please. Take a breath. Start to tippy-toe your toes in towards you. As you tilt your chest backwards, lifting your bottom up to the ceiling, holding your dolphin plank. If you do want to play around with a little bit of an upside down inversion, your pincher, now's the chance to do so. Or perhaps we're working on strengthening up the shoulders, opening up and releasing into that space also. And quite often we fling ourselves around in yoga practice, and then when it comes to holding, it's a little bit harder. Take one more breath wherever you are. And release both feet down to the ground. Stay with your dolphin pose, please. Look forward to your hands. Press both hands down. Lift both forearms. We should be in some sort of downward facing dog. Feel free to have a little shuffle movement around here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. Let's take that all on the left side. Drawing your big toes to touch. Sweep left leg high. Keep the hips neutral. Grounding down that right heel. Lift up the kneecap. Long line from the fingertips all the way up towards that back left sole of the foot. Can you find some more length here? Take a breath. Curl your knee to nose. Round through the upper back. Press the floor away. Lightly step your foot by the left thumb. Ground the right back heel. Root the feet. Rise high. Warrior one. Breathe steady. Hug the ribcage in. Almost seeing if we can tuck the pelvis under here to neutralize the lower back. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Hands draw around behind you. Interlace the fingers, non-dominant grip. Lifting the hands away from the tailbone. Release the front of the body as you rise the ribcage high. And exhale to humble that warrior. Left shoulder to the inside edge of the thigh. Keep drawing forwards. Anchoring the weight into this front left foot. Now, as we look under the legs, have a look at that back right foot. Can you see the arch, the inside edge of your foot? Is it collapsing almost down to the floor, the back of your foot rising high? Or can we actively press the foot away and feel a lift through the inner seam of that back foot? Take one more breath. Use the reach of the hands to lift you back up to center. Come to the back right tippy toes. Prepare yourself, please. Shift the weight forwards, right knee coming in towards your chest. Keep the grip of the fingers. Cross that right leg over the top of the left, sinking into our half chair, half eagle, half, 3 halves, back bend. Hands away from the tailbone. Lift the chin, relax the face. Smooth out the breath. Standing up tall, right knee in towards your chest. Release the grip of the fingertips. Palms face forwards as we send that right sole of the foot back. Tadasana, Aeroplane Pose. Slow and steady here. Squeeze the shoulders, length through the neck. Roll the right hip, right shoulder down. One more inhale. Exhale, gracefully steps you back. Lift the hands high. Carry on that movement as we open out Warrior Two, left arm forwards, right arm back. Straighten the front leg, reaching the left arm up and over, exalt the warrior. Opening up that left side rib. Gently draw yourself into center, both arms reaching high, please. Lift up the kneecaps, shift the hip bones backwards as we rock and roll the arms forwards, triangle pose. If you have a little hip click there, embrace it. If we need to, remember, you can always take this left hand down to your shin. One more breath. Bend the left knee. Hands keep reaching forwards. You can take your forearm to the thigh or stick with it for one more breath. Arms staying straight, lift high to the ceiling, Warrior Two. Legs reaching the arms tall. I'm just going to have a little shuffle away from the wall. Send your bum backwards, lengthen your chest over and almost sideways to the mat here. If you are limited on room, grabbing a hold of your elbows out in front of you might be a little space saver. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bending deeper through that left knee, Tadasana. Lightly does it. Sit your bum all the way down to the floor. What goes down goes back up. Reach your hands forwards, press the feet down. Come back into that side lunge. Left arm sweeping forwards, fingertips find the ground as we open up that right top arm. Breathe here. One more inhale. Exhale, pivot to the back toes, right hand down, inner seam of the left foot. Left arm, breathe it high. Setting ourselves up for the side plank, roll to the blade edge of both feet. Left foot steps back on top of the right. And maybe this side we stay lifted if you took either of the variations. Or if you want something a little bit harder, keeping your hips neutral, float this left leg off of the right. So almost like you're a big starfish. One more inhale. And exhale, foot to land, forearm down to the ground, your left forearm. Swivel on the feet. Ooh. Roll over to that left side edge of the foot. Right arm high, squeezing your glutes. Lift the hip bone a little bit higher. Space between your armpit and your side waist. One more breath. Right forearm down to the ground. Fingertips facing the top of the mat. Now notice if you've got your bottom sticking up already, if we're arching into the spine, or if you're collapsing through the back body. Can we draw everything into the center? And just hold here in our plank, because who doesn't love 3 planks in a row? Take a breath. Tippy toe your feet towards you, sending your chest backwards, coming back into that dolphin hold. If you're exploring upside down and you did your dominant leg last time, have a little play around with the less dominant leg. If we're holding on the ground, maybe lifting up one leg, holding for a couple of breaths and then switching that space over. Never needing to find any pressure to take it further than you need to today. Where you're at today is perfect. And gently, everybody slowly start to release both feet to the ground. Look forward to your hands, press the floor away, come back downward facing dog. Oh, that's a nasty transition. One more breath. Drop down the knees, untuck the toes, bum to your heels, child's pose. Relax the arms, relax your face, and just give yourself a little moment here to release. To recenter, to recollect. Gently start to walk your hands back, coming onto your shins. Good. Let's like our way onto our backs, please. You can get there as energetically as you wish. I'm going to roll the legs around, shuffle my bum forwards, and glide onto the back body. Hug your knees in. Have a little roll from side to side. Softening into the back. Let's do one final hip opener, your reclined pigeon pose. From here, my lovelies, extend your right leg high. Flex the foot, start to bend your knee and draw the right ankle on top of the left knee. This might be good, and you're going to ground down the left foot and anchor that right leg over to the side. This might feel enough today. If you're taking it further, tuck your chin to your chest. Have a little look at that triangle in between both legs. You're going to take your right arm through the triangle, left arm round and underneath the thigh. Interlace the fingers, relax that leg, relax the chest, and see if we can work on drawing your left thigh in towards you. Now, depending on the flexibility of your right hip, or the kind of the anatomy, the rotation, or the kind of length of your femoral head or the femur head of your thigh bone, really depends on how open you're going to be in this space. So there is absolutely no need to like force and to really put pressure onto your hip and knee joints. Just take it slow, ease your way in. And any funky feeling going on into that right knee, have a little move around, see what works for your body today. Relaxing the shoulders, relax your face. That was a lot of information. And next breath, just release your hands down. Keep your right leg crossing on top of the left. And we're going to slide the thighs together like we did in our standing balance. So the right leg is on top of the left. Draw your right knee across, open out the arms into a big T shape, or if you're a little compromised for space today, bend the elbows back as if it's a cactus shape with your upper body. And just feel the weight of gravity drawing your knees down. If this does feel like too much pressure, again, feel free to relax the legs, unbind them, and just softly release that right leg on top of the left. Twisting out the spine and just feeling almost a heaviness fall over your body as we start to close the practice. Next inhale, rolling onto your back body. Uncross the legs if they're still bound, and just give yourself a little wiggle in the middle before we take that reclining pigeon pose on the left side. As you feel ready, lift the left foot high, flex the foot, cross the ankle over the top of that right knee. In that first step, place the right foot down and take that left knee over to the left side. If we're taking it further, your chin to chest, knee to chest, that would be impressive. Left hand through the center of the legs, right arm wrapping around, and again that non-dominant grip behind the right thigh. Release the upper body, neck, shoulders back to the floor. Just drawing slowly this right knee in towards your chest. Keep the left foot flexed, keeping that knee joint safe. We want to be kind to our knees. They do so much for us. Each exhale, finding a little bit more surrender to the posture. Guiding that right thigh in. And if you find yourself getting distracted with thoughts of, breakfast, lunch, dinner, a drink, glass of wine, what I like to do is almost have a watch of your body. And I don't mean watching the physicality, like watching yourself move, but what is happening on the internal body. Like right now, I can feel my left hip just slowly starting to increase this space. I've just got a sudden twinge in my left rib cage. What's going on with your body? What can you notice? Release the grip of the thigh and take that left leg on top of the right, please. As we open up into our twist, arms wide or the cactus shape, knees just falling effortlessly over towards the right side. And see if you can find the space in which you just allow yourself to let go. There's no need to push, no need to pull. Just allow the weight of you melt into the ground. Next breath leads you onto the back. Hug the knees in. Have a little massage of your lower spine, of the hips. And for our relaxation, for our Shavasana, you're going to place the soles of the feet onto the ground, please, a little bit wider than your hips. Allow the knees to drop in. Back to the hands to the ground, palms high, closing down the gaze. We've done a lot of external rotation. This is just allowing your hips to neutralize with a little bit of internal rotation. Tucking your chin in towards your chest and gifting yourself the next couple of moments to let all of that movement, all of that asana land into the body. I'll let you know when we're coming out of this space. Guiding your attention back to your breath, feeling the cool air as it arrives into the lungs, and feeling the warmth as it leaves the body. Initiating small movements into fingers and toes. Movements just effortlessly getting that little bit bigger. Stretching your arms fully, your legs, keeping the eyes just soft. There's no need to do too much too quickly here. As you feel ready, hugging your knees in towards your chest, rolling over to a side, or with as little effort as possible, finding your way up to a comfortable seat. Don't worry too much about the direction in which you're facing. Sitting up nice and tall, rooting through the seat or the sit bones, lengthening through the neck, shoulders releasing, bow the chin down to the chest. Inhale, shoulders rise to ears. Exhale and drop. Once again. Placing your left hand onto your heart center, right hand on top. Finding this moment of appreciation and gratitude for the hard work and effort that you found in your class today. Drawing the palms to touch, lift your thumbs just between the brows. Bowing forward to honor the practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day, gorgeous yogis. Jai. Thank you so much. My name is F. If you have any questions or comments on your class today, feel free to pop them below. If not, I hope to see you on the mat soon. Thank you so much.